right, welcome to another episode of the Bulldog Bark. I'm yours truly, the Guru. With me today, I got my usual suspect, BFC, Butler's Fighting Crew. And today, we got a very special guest in the building, former Butler Bulldog, Paul Jorgensen. Paul, how you doing, man?
Great. Super happy to be here, guys. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. Obviously, one big reason we wanted Paul on the podcast, not just because we obviously love ourselves some Paul Jorgensen, but the TBT is coming up in 2 weeks for you guys that don't know that.
Yep.
I believe we play at 6 p.m. Eastern time, the 19th in Hinkle Fieldhouse. If you haven't got your ticks yet, make sure you get them. So we'll dive into that a little bit and just hear a little bit about what Paul's been up to since his Butler days. So, yeah, before we get into the TBT stuff, man, just catch us up on what you've been up to. Obviously, you've been overseas playing some ball. What you've been up to since your Bulldog days.
Yeah, so I think last year finished my 5th season overseas. I've been fortunate to play, and I played in Spain, Poland, Italy, Greece, and Portugal. So I played in 5 different countries through 5 different years. So been a lot of basketball, a lot of new places, new people, new culture, just kind of really trying to enjoy everything that basketball has been giving me, because it's been a long road and I'm really grateful to where I am. So I'm looking for a new team right now, waiting on contracts and situations like that. And, I'm going to keep playing. I'm a hooper. I'm going to keep playing. I'm going to play till the wheels fall off. So I'm going, man.
What was your favorite spot out of all those?
So my favorite spot, that's a good question. I really love Spain.
Yeah.
Spain's really special to me, and I think Italy is also really special to me too. So those two.
Yeah, man. Well, you'll lock down a spot. We know that. But hey, you've already locked down a spot with the TBT again. All Good Dogs TBT. Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about that. How'd that come to be? Who reached out to you? How did that all?
So I actually remember. I remember last year, someone reached out to me on TBT about putting together a Butler team. Obviously, to start the TBT, you need, I can't remember, but you need a certain amount of money, you need a certain amount of backing, and you need some different things. At that time, I was overseas, and I told one of my friends to do it, who was a manager, and I think it kind of fell through the ropes a little bit. But then this year, I guess they talked to someone formerly on staff, Emerson Campen, and they got Gordon involved, and he called me, I think it was in January, saying, hey, like, the idea is in the works. Would you be interested in playing? And I said, of course. I mean, they told me right away it was going to be back in Hinkle, which is awesome. That's freaking amazing. So that was cool. Also to reunite with the guys, to see the fans, like the old, just to be back in Indy is something really special. So it kind of came about randomly. I had no idea. And then now it's forming pretty nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Is there any guys that you're looking forward to playing with or playing against?
Well, I think first we're starting off with Kyle Guy's team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. He's not going to play, I don't think, because I know Kyle. I don't think Kyle's going to play, but you never know. He could play. The last second, he can make a decision and play. But they got some good players, some indie guys who are playing overseas, and they're a good team. But on our team, I'm excited to play with Rodney Clark. I'm excited to play with Rodney, Shelvin too. I know guys have been in and out. Some guys have had some injuries. I'm not really sure exactly, like our big men.
Yeah, you got Enzi back, and Hodges. Hodges is there too. I mean, he's not a big man, but between you, Shelvin, Sean McDermott, and
Sean as well. I'm excited to play with Sean.
You guys are about to light it up from 3. I was looking at that team. I was like, there is no end of shooting this team right now. We needed a big guy. I'm glad Enzi's on board, but I mean, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I hope we all have a good day. Like, we're all hot at the right time, because I think it could be a lot of fun.
Yeah. BSC, you got some questions?
Yeah, that was like the first thing that stuck out when I was looking at the rosters. It was just like you got probably 4 or 5 of the best 3-point shooters to ever come through Butler. And with especially like you, Rodney, and Sean.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I think that one big thing that I think a lot of Butler fans wonder about is obviously from my year, I think 7 or 8 guys are playing overseas. You, Sean, Keelan, Kamar, Weidman. So what does that kind of look like? Kind of getting out there. I'm sure it's easier to kind of go from team to team once you're over there, but
Yeah.
out of college, getting out to the Euro leagues for the first time.
Out of college, it's like I had agents reaching out to me my senior year, proposing different plans, different places, and honestly, like I had no idea. I had European basketball for me, like, and I think for a lot of the guys, obviously you grow up with the NBA, you grow up not really with the G League, but G League's an option, and you hear about overseas guys going overseas, but you don't really know like how many leagues, how, like the salaries, this and then that. So it's a whole. The first year kind of hit me by storm. I was a little bit. I had a couple months. It took me some time to adjust. That whole year I was homesick a little bit, and then after a while, I said, "All right, like I'm still playing basketball. I'm loving it." And then all of a sudden, I hit a breakthrough. My second year in Portugal, I played really well. I had a good coach, good opportunity, and then from there, I've been going up. But overseas is tricky because there's so much stuff you can't control. There's overseas coaches that might not like you. There's languages that you might not speak. There's agents that you might, it's a lot of different variables. So it's a whole process.
Yeah, no, I love kind of looking at the rosters and seeing there's always like, a couple big college stars, playing on each team.
Yeah.
That's always really fun. And I know
I remember.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
My bad. I was gonna say I remember like one time I was in 2 years ago. I was playing for a team called FC Porto, and FC Porto was a huge big soccer club in Portugal. And we played against Benfica, a rival. And all of a sudden I saw they had Bryce Alford and Tweety Carter from Bale. I'm like these guys are still playing. I'm like, how are they? And then I'm trying to think other players I played. Like this year, I was my team in Greece. I was with London Parentes from Virginia. And then I played with this guy, Andrew Goodluck, who played 15 years ago at college at Charleston, played with the Lakers. And guys just twinkle all over leagues, and it's just crazy. You never know who you're going to see until you play him. And it's like, oh, shit, like, I remember that guy, So it's cool.
Yeah. Do you ever see any of, like, the other former Dogs overseas, or is it?
So I played against Tyler this year.
Nice.
Yeah. I played. They beat us. He played fantastic.
He shot like 30. What was it? I have to look it up. It was like
from 3,
40% from 3 this year. I was like, where was that?
so he hit. I think he hit against us, no bullshit, 4 or 5 threes. And but Tyler's the guy who's always been working on his shot. However, in college, you guys know college is very system oriented, right? Like, so if you have a guy like Tyler Wyman who's a beast, physical, like you're gonna put him down low. And then he didn't really have the opportunity to shoot. I think he could have shot back in college, but sometimes there's limitations of coaches. And now in pro, he's like, all right, I'm not playing here unless you let me shoot threes. And then he's shooting to make him. So he'll continue to shoot him, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then speaking of like those days, what were maybe some of your best memories? Let's start with just like what was like a Hinkle moment that you remember, vividly, from your time there.
I mean, of course, I'm gonna have to. Everyone knows the Villanova shot.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that was one of those moments in my career. It's like a gift and a curse. A lot of people, I hope they remember me for more. But like that shot, everyone always talks about it against those guys who are on the Knicks. So that was cool. I think. I mean, there was a lot of Big East battles, like when we played Marquette. When we beat Marquette when they had Marcus Howard, and then we beat them in a close game. I don't know, when we beat Providence, there's a lot of different games. There's Ole Miss was good, especially for me. There's a lot of games where everything was special.
Was Ole Miss your career high? Yeah.
That was my career high. Ole Miss was my career high. And then I remember they had some pros on that team, NBA guys.
Yeah, they had a solid squad. What my favorite memory of you is, other than the ones you've already named. And actually, I'm just going to ask you straight up. Was it goaltender or not? Seton Hall, you drive baseline, or I think on the right side, little floater. And I mean, it was 50-50. What do you
it was 50-50. Bro, that's funny, man. That's one of my favorites because I grew up like Seton Hall, St. John's, Rutgers. Like those were even though they were bad, I wanted to go play at those schools.
Yeah. And
they never really gave me a time of day. So I remember that game was special. And that last play, I had the big switch on me, the footer Gill. And I wanted to shoot it, but he was so long.
Yeah. And
I remember I hit that left to right cross. And I just kind of threw it up there quick. And I didn't even know. I looked up and I heard the whistle. And I'm just going, count it. Yeah, that was cool, man.
Yeah, that was close, though. weirdly, that's one memory that I'll always, I don't know why. It's just that one shot. I'm always like, I mean, obviously the Villanova one, great shot.
Yeah.
That amps me up every single time I watch it. But yeah, that Seton Hall game was nuts too. What about so this was actually asked by one of another Butler fan account, wants to know what was said. Do you remember when you got that T in the St. John's game?
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. What maybe dive into that a little bit. What happened there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'll give you. I don't think I ever told this honest story, so I'll give you the honest story. So I had we were playing well. First of all, I think we lost. We should have beat them. We were up twice, junior and senior year against them. We both had terrible ending, but I was getting hot. And another school like St. John's in New York, it's my backyard. Like, so I'm hot. I'm feeling it. You know, I'm doing my thing. And all of a sudden, I hear a guy in the crowd. You know, starts chirping like. So I hear him say something about Indiana. And I love Indiana because like you guys took me in. So that's like my shit now too. You know, I like Indiana is awesome. So he said something. I was like, all right, hit another shot. He's like, take your ass back to Indiana. He's like, you don't know what the hell's going on in New York. And I was like, I said some bad words. I was like, shut up. I'm from here. I'm from New York. And then all of a sudden, that's all I said. I promise you. And then the ref looked at me and then he just teed me up. And I didn't even, that's all I said. It was like, I just was talking to him. I didn't curse. I didn't really say anything. I just said I was from New York. And then I got that T, which was crazy. Man. That's all I said.
Man, I was expecting there to be some like F-bombs and stuff dropping there, but no.
He was saying like, I think no F-bombs on my part, but he was saying, you know, Indiana, get back to being, you guys are Hicks, this, that, like get the fuck back, you know, stuff like that. Yeah. And I was just like, bro, first of all, I'm from New York. Second of all, don't talk about Indiana because that's my place now too. So you know what I mean?
I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah, so that was that.
Yeah, I mean, I just like talking about favorite memories. I think your senior night against Xavier, you know, because
great one.
The year before blew it, you know, went off in that overtime and like shushed the crowd. And I remember I was sitting in the student section and was so pissed at him. And then that next year, like I think you got a steal and got fouled like super late, and just like entire stadium just going off. And it was you and Nate, right? Were the two?
Yeah.
That, like, kind of going into that, what was it like that last year? Obviously, you know, win 6th man of the year, your junior year, right?
And my senior year.
Our senior year, yeah. So kind of, you know, taking that next step. Was that like kind of just go into that a little bit of like, you know, take a bigger role in like leadership on the team?
Well, for sure. Well, first I hit on like that game. It's funny. I haven't thought about a lot of this stuff, but like when we talk about it, it's so clear. Like I remember that game was my last game in Hinkle. And before the game, I walk in, and you guys know when you look at Hinkle, it's like, it takes you away sometimes, right? Sure. And I started to cry, like to get choked up by myself. I'm just looking at this place like, damn, like I somehow pulled this out where I'm playing at Butler in the Big East. Like, this is amazing, you know? And I got emotional because Butler gave me so much that I always wanted, like a chance to play in the Big East, a chance to play at the highest level. And I was always so grateful for that. And that's why I always tried to play with emotion and be happy and be joyful because, you know, it was a gift. And I remember that game at the end, I got that steal. And I think I was pointing to my chest, just like in my heart. Because listen, I wasn't always the fastest, the biggest, and our team struggled that year. But at least we finished that with the right way, with heart, and the way. That's how Butler should always play to me, win or lose. I think the fans and the people, if you show heart, you show like you love the school, you love the game. I think you're always going to have respect and support. So that was, you know, that was an emotional game. And like the last one, the 6th man of the year, you know, I started all that year, and then I remember Laval pushed me to the bench. And to be honest, I was frustrated. The first couple of games, I was frustrated because I thought senior year I should start, you know. So I was a little upset for a week or two, but I had to kind of bite it, and I did, and I just tried to make the best I could. And at the end of the day, I think the 6th role was good for me in that way because I came in, I gave us some energy, and allowed me to kind of be the number 1 option right away. So another gift in disguise, you know. That's a cool award. I think the year before, DiVincenzo won it. So, you know, I just wish I could make $100 million like him, but.
Hey,
but that's it.
Hey, but you know, the Nova Knicks, I posted this.
Yeah.
Butler.
Nova Knicks.
Butler was the only team to have 3 wins against that group of guys
Crazy.
The Knicks, yeah. I think Providence they only lost 13 games total in a span of 3 years, or 3 years, 4 years, 3 or 4, whatever it was, and we had 3 of them. That's what I'm talking about,
dude. We had for some reason we had their number.
You did.
I mean, listen, Keelan would always go off. Kamar, Sean, like Tyler, like everyone always had a good game at some point against them. Aaron, like I don't know, something about us playing them. We were similar in styles a little bit, like physical, gritty. Yeah. You know, obviously I think they of course they had like some talent.
Yeah.
So it showed in the end, but no, good battles, man, with them. Good battles.
Do you still talk to some of those guys?
Yeah, I still do. I talk to the guys on my team. You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to stay in touch. Obviously, over years you lose contact, but Instagram is good. Yeah. You see stories or you see something, you slide up real quick, and that kind of keeps you connected. So I follow what everyone's doing. I think they do the same with me. Of course, talking all the time is difficult, but we're still in touch.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Which is nice, you know.
Yeah. Kamar just posted maybe the sickest photos I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. Black Mamba mask on. I was like, oh man, this is dirty. It looks so good.
So I saw Kamar play this year because I was in outside Milan and he was playing against Milan, and I saw him, and I brought a kid in my club. There was a kid from South Sudan who, you know, tough growing up, like war. I'm serious, like crazy stuff. And I remember I brought him to the game, and I had Kamar. After the game, Kamar was talking to him, telling him like keys to where he got to the level, and it was cool, like to have that connection, and to Kamar to get back to a kid who was just trying to make it, you know. Yeah. So it was a kind of a full circle moment.
Yeah. One thing, like I just gotta ask, the Prince Harry of Harlem video, was that as sick like in person as the video like comes out?
I'm not gonna lie to you, it was fucking crazy because dude, I got there and like I'm the only white kid maybe for 5-6 blocks, and you know I show up, I start the first possession. I was nervous because I'd never been to that part of New York City and stuff, and I dribbled off my foot. Terrible play, right? So the beginning of the game, everyone was kind of like talking shit, like, oh, get him off the court. All of a sudden in the second half, I made a shot, and they just kept giving me the ball, and I went 7 straight. The game, everyone rushed the court, and after that moment, I had the New York City street cred. So I was always going back to different courts and playing, but it was a cool moment, and that's where I got my confidence, because you know if you're not strong and you're not sticking up for yourself in that environment, like you're getting laughed off the court. Yeah. So that's what kind of I stuck with me in the Big East. Like, listen, I don't care who you are, I'll go at you, and that's kind of the attitude I kept it with.
Yeah, absolutely. Who was maybe the toughest defender or guy you ever went up against in college? Let's say the Big East. Keep it the Big East.
In the Big East, the toughest person I probably went up against. That's a good question. Probably like the Villanova guy, Brunson, DiVincenzo. Yeah. Like I remember I had to guard DiVincenzo, and I remember he ran a play on the elbow. They isoed me on the elbow, and I was just like, oh shit! Like he hit me with the jab step. Nah, I look back, he's at the rim. Huh? That's crazy.
That's awesome. What's outside of Hinkle? What was the favorite venue you ever played at? In college.
In college. I mean, everyone talks about Madison Square Garden. Madison Square Garden was great, but honestly, like Big East, I enjoyed St. John's, because St. John's was small, it was sweaty, it was like they're on top of me. I feel good in those gyms. Like there was a gym this year I played in Italy. It was small. The rim with the wall was close to the rim. Sometimes that helps your depth perception. Yeah. And I told my teammate, like, I'm going off here. And I went off for like 25 because I just sometimes have those feelings in those gyms. Yeah. I know, it's crazy, you know? So, yeah. So, but I'll tell you guys a quick story about how because I never told this one before, but when I was going to Butler, I wasn't going to go to Butler. I was going to go to Northeastern. Yeah, I was gonna go to Northeastern because I was a little nervous. I didn't have a great career at George Washington, so I didn't know if I was gonna play. I remember Holtman calls me up and says, "Hey, like, we like you," and I was like, Why? I haven't done anything. He's like, oh, we saw you talking when you were playing Rhode Island. You were talking shit. You're getting in their face. Like, we need that here. We need that. I was like, I can definitely do that. And then, so I get off. I was gonna go. Then I was gonna commit Northeastern. The Northeastern coach calls me. I knew I was gonna play 30 minutes. He's like, listen, we just took someone else. And then I never forget. I call my best friend, and he's like, listen, this is something you've always wanted. It's time to go. Like, you know, put your big boy pants on. Like, either you're gonna fail or you're gonna do it. And then the best decision I ever made, though, going to Butler.
Yeah, man. I know I speak on behalf of everyone, and you easily became one of, and you talked about it a little before, but you easily became one of, I think, a fan favorite dog. And like, you were obviously one of the best dogs to come through. I'm not saying that at all, but just the energy you brought every time. I was like, when I posted this before, my Mount Rushmore of Butler guys that I've liked from the
I've seen that.
Yeah, your face ended up on it, right? Because at the end of the day, you always brought energy, which I think is important, and that's what Holton was hitting at there.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, and also like your account and both the accounts, like, man, I see the stuff when I'm overseas, and like it's late at night. Sometimes I'm alone, or sometimes, and honestly, like following Butler through you guys, like it's cool. It gives a different perspective, especially when you guys shout out me or the other alums. Like it, you know, it does, man. It means a lot. Like, you know, no BS, and it makes me really happy, and I like your accounts, and I hope Butler can become more. It's always been a little closed, and I like that we're trying to, like, you know, it's a new age, man. Let's enjoy it, and I like that you guys are bringing energy and stuff, and the work's not going unnoticed. So you guys keep it up.
Well, we appreciate that, man, and yeah,
sure.
I will say that I think that because they hired Grant Leindecker, they've made a few new positions. I think that they're starting to. I think we're starting to get there, right? We're starting to adopt to the modern ways. So it's, I think, yeah, right, yeah. But BFC, you got anything else you want to add, man?
Yeah, no, just kind of doubling down. Like, obviously, we were in school at the same time. You were like, I was telling Guru, you're my favorite Butler player that I watched, just because, like,
I appreciate that, man.
You know, like my buddies would be saying, you know, Keelan has a quiet 30. I was like, yeah, but Colin got a loud.
I do love Keelan.
He got a loud 18. And he's got the entire other bench pissed off.
Oh man,
and
funny,
I think
man.
You know, I think Butler every year kind of since then has had a guy kind of like that. I think Finley on this new team, you know, I kind of see some like your game in him. So yeah, just keep killing it overseas, because we love watching pros, and yeah, we're both going to TBT. So, you know, I know this team can shoot, so I'm excited.
Well, listen, both of you guys, before TBT or after the game, find me. You know, if you guys find me, I'll say what's up. We can chat, whatever. You know, just kind of just seek me out.
Yeah, definitely will, man.
Absolutely.
Sure. All right, man. Well, hey, we appreciate you sitting down and talking about some of that stuff. It's always fun to hear from some Butler alumni and just hear what you guys are up to and hear about your good old days. I mean, Butler's obviously fallen on a couple hard years, so it's fun to reminisce on those ones. We'll get it back turned around. We got, first winning season in 4 years last year, so it's good. We're turning it back. But no, man, we really appreciate you. Appreciate everything you're doing, man. Good luck with the rest of your pro career overseas, and again, just appreciate you hopping on.
Yeah, guys, thank you very much. Anything you need I can help with, just hit me, and hopefully we see you guys in Indy.